Hi, Pop Culture Pals. It's Cynthia. I'm back again. Can you believe it? You've seen me so much recently with another haul. And it's a lot of small stuff. So, again, I thought it'd be easier to just point the camera at my desk. Forgive, it's cluttered, I know. But there was just so much stuff, and my desk really needs a clean off. But again, if I wait for all those things to happen, they'll never happen. So I thought I'm just going to lay the stuff down, point the camera at it, and show you, because I found some really cool things this week that are different than what I normally buy, and I want to talk to you about them and maybe help you find some things to build up your eBay store. I will say two things. One is, even though it's pretty much become back to school, which usually is a sign of eBay picking up, eBay's actually gotten really slow for us this last week. Not that, I mean, we're still making sales, and we're making sales kind of like we were months and months ago before I started really digging in, but not the kind of sales we've been having in prior weeks. So I don't know, if you're selling on eBay, why don't you tell me how it's going for you? These things are cyclical. I know that happens. And again, it could be the fact that we've been putting up a lot of Halloween and a lot of t-shirts, and maybe we're just not hitting enough variety. So I'm hoping this pile on my desk, which is why I wanted to do this video now, is because I know if I list before I video, it'll get put away and I'll never get to show you. So I'm hoping this is going to work. Second thing that I'm thinking about that I'd love to hear your opinion is I'm thinking about putting together, especially for the holidays, I hesitate to call them surprise boxes because eBay doesn't technically allow you to sell, sorry, my arm in the way, they don't allow you to sell mystery boxes, as in it's a box full of stuff and they won't tell you what. People do. Yes, you'll find lots of them on eBay, but they are technically against the rules. You can, however, sell a lot where you generally describe. So you can say it's a box with 4 t-shirts, but I don't tell you what the 4 t-shirts are. So what I'm thinking about doing is I really wanted to put together some fandom boxes, maybe for somebody to buy for someone else as a gift for the holidays. Like you've got a sister, son, or daughter who's into, say, Supernatural or Harry Potter, and you don't know what to buy them. So you could buy this mystery box that has a list that has mixed items in it that are just from that fandom. And I thought that'd be kind of fun. And I thought I might give it a try. The trick is finding the right price point. But tell me what you think about that. Would you be interested in a surprise box to the extent where I would just say, hey, you're going to get a shirt, you're going to get a toy of Harry Potter, of Disney, of Supernatural? And what kind of price point would you pay? So that's my question. So let's dive in. The first thing I got is this. And, again, this is one of these things that when I looked it up in the store, it was selling better than it was when I got home. eBay Mobile is really different. If you've ever really wondered why, like, sometimes your sales are off or different, we have a lot. We have about half of our sales come from mobile. And mobile is just, again, you see a completely different set of things when you search mobile than you do when you search desktop. It's really weird. So this is a metal sign. It's magnetic, and it's Harry Potter and the gang playing Quidditch. Here's the little golden snitch. All the pieces are here, as far as I can tell. There's flags for the 4 teams. There's a couple of players for each team. Here's the green team. When I first saw it, I thought it was just a tin sign, and then I realized that these were magnets that you could move around. Sorry for the glare. It's really tricky on this. Someone had taken it out of the package at Salvation Army. I could not find the package anywhere, so it didn't have a price, and it's just lucky that I found it before all the pieces got lost, because once it's out of the package, that was going to happen, or it was going to get dented up. So I'm not even really sure what they charged me for it. I think he charged a couple bucks. He joked that it was, a rare collectible worth thousands. He was going to charge me. But I'd say I probably paid about $2 for it. They do sell in the 14 to 19 range, especially if it was new or if I had the wrapping for it. But I think I can probably still get that. It does seem like it's kind of rare, and it's real fun. I think it's a neat piece for Harry Potter fans. It doesn't have a date. Like I said, I don't have the packaging on it, so I don't know too much else about it. Let's move that out of the way. One thing I went back to that I hadn't done in a long time. I used to do a lot of craft patterns, craft kits, and we used to do very well with them, selling them for $20, $30 a pop. And then they kind of died off, and I think that might be seasonal. I do think that people tend to do more craft kits in the winter when they're stuck at home. So I think that in the next few months, it's really going to pick up, especially things like this that are Christmas ornaments. If people are going to make these, which they still do, I suppose, they need to get going on it. I do think we just don't have as many crafters as we used to. So craft items in general have lost a little value, which is kind of sad because it's nice to see people make things by hand. So I was at the Salvation Army down by the beach, which sadly means I had to pay full price for these items. And they had a whole stack, huge stack of kits that were probably all donated by the same person. And they wanted about this one was $3.50. They wanted in the neighborhood of $3.50 for each. I went through them roughly and pulled the ones that I thought were the best bets. I didn't look them all up in the store. I grabbed this one because I know that Christmas in general does well. Busola's a really nice set, and this is a cute set. So this does sell for in the 12 to 15 range. There are kits, particularly full stocking kits, not these little minis, big stocking kits and Christmas tree skirt kits that sell for $30, $40, $80, $100. Those kits still are out there. I was hoping this was one of them, but it wasn't. But still, again, a nice kit. I should get $12 or so on that. This I thought was going to be my real find, but oddly not. So you can see I paid $3.50 for it. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, counted cross stitch. Really unusual because it's a baseball theme, which I don't know if it's going to make this more or less desirable, but this set of Snow White kits, when I saw this, I didn't even look it up because I'm like, it's Disney. It's a craft stitch kit. It's new. Come on. I mean, it's in the package. But this line, there's a variety of them with Snow White on them. Sell, in the $10 to $12 range. They're not selling for that much. And this one, like I said, I didn't even see this one. I don't know. It could be better because it is so unusual and doesn't have Snow White in it. Or it's going to be a real loser because it's too unusual and doesn't have Snow White in it. I'm not sure. I think it's really different, and it's a lovely piece, so I think somebody's going to want it. I think worst case, $12. So this is funny because this looked like Disney Lion King to me. It's called Astral Lion, and it's from DMC, and it's from their Born Free collection. Remember that? Born Free. Oh, if I sing eBay, they'll get me. The original price on this is still here. It was $30. It was marked down to $10. Somebody, wrote on the package here, I paid $2.50 for it. It's funny, they only wanted $2.50. I think it's all here. I didn't check, but it looked like because the way the thread was here, I'll double check it. But again, it was a nice kit. I've never seen one packaged this way. So I felt for $2.50 I'd grab it. Again, this is selling in the $12 to $15 range. I'm again assuming it's all complete in there. But again, $2 to $2.50 if I get shipping on top to $12.50. Sorry. Is $7 or $8, depending if I get shipping on top, $7 or $8 profit, which I think is nice. And again, to have some different stuff in our store, I think is worth it. So yeah, and gosh, they're so easy to mail. That's the other thing about craft kits. There's nothing to break. You just throw them in a poly mailer and you're out the door. I got one more. This is another Busola stocking kit. It's actually different than the other one. Sorry, get the glare off of it. It's another one from the same line, but the patterns are different. The other ones are tiny stocking ornaments, little stockings. The others are called tiny stockings. The other ones are more detailed. The first ones I showed you, they are way more detailed. These look a little bit simpler. So if you're new at counted cross stitch, these are a little bit easier. I have to say too, I felt a little guilty. I've learned in the stores to grab first, look up later, because if you wait on a good item, somebody else will come grab it from you. So I pretty much grabbed all of these kits and put them in my cart. I never had any intention of buying all of them, but I wanted to have time to look through them. And a woman came along and she was like, oh, are there any counted cross stitches in there? Because my mom really loves to do those. And I was like, oh God, I can't say, no, I'm taking them all. You can't have them. But in the end, it turned out she didn't want counted cross stitch, which is the ones with the blank canvas, which is much harder. She wanted printed cross stitch that, you're just sort of mindlessly sewing away. So she didn't want anything I had after all, but I did feel kind of guilty and grabbing them all. I'm not one of these people who likes to clear the counters of everything, but at the same time, you know, I found them and I want them and I'm going to pay the price for them, right? So I did. So I got this. I picked up a couple of t-shirts. Let me drop down here a little bit. These were kind of interesting in that I wouldn't normally spend although this actually wasn't bad. So Salvation Army's been charging up to $4 to $8 for their shirts. For some reason, they only had this one marked at $2.99, which is Goodwill price that I normally pay. On some days, I probably would have passed on this. So this is Friends. How you doing? You know, Joey, how you doing? Because Friends is, I don't know, really common. I don't know why I would have passed on it, but I probably would have. But I was thinking about those boxes I was talking about and thought, you know what, I could put together a classic TV box. I think I have enough stuff that would be kind of fun. So like I could put this in there. This is a large, really good shape shirt. And there's this Cheers Boston. Sorry, I'm off angle here. Cheers Boston. I don't even know my name. It's too funny. And it is CBS Studios, because there is an actual Cheers restaurant, and so it is actually the show. And this one is also a large, so I thought I could put these together in a classic TV box and, you know, find one or two other things to put in there. I think somebody would be happy with that. Do you think somebody who's a classic TV fan would be happy to get a Cheers and a Friends t-shirt and some other stuff? I do. All right, these little guys that fell over, we're going to get to them in a minute. I'm going to get to that in a minute too. This is a weird find. So how many of you remember Weird Al Yankovic? Weird Al, if you don't know, was known for his parody musical style. So he would write songs based on famous popular songs, and he would twist them his way. And there you can see, there he is, like, again. And so he had a TV show for a little while that was kind of Pee Wee Herman-esque. That's kind of fun there. So I was at the Goodwill, and I heard this girl grab a card, like one of these cards off of, I hadn't seen him yet. All I heard her go up to her father and go, "Oh, look, Weird Al Yankovic, remember him?" And then she put the card down. So I thought, what is that? Well, I walk over and find these cards spilled everywhere, all over the table, all over the shelf, all over the lower shelf, all over the floor, under the shelves. They were everywhere. But clearly they'd only just recently been dumped because they're still in good shape. I thought maybe they came out of a game, but I did a little homework and they look like they were just trading cards you could buy. They did come in a plastic box. So somebody either donated them without the box. I don't know. Again, I can't see that Salvation Army would have put them out without a box. That would have been silly. They would have put them in a bag or something. So somebody took them out of the box, dumped the box, either took the box for something else. Like Weird Al Yankovic, Spy Hard. Too funny. So again, all these his joke versions, his parody versions of famous movies and records and things. It's cool art. So anyway, I found out that the full sets, which is 100 and some cards, do sell for $20 to $25 with their little plastic box, but I don't think anybody's going to be upset not having the plastic box. And even smaller sets sold. So I haven't counted them yet to see if they're all here. If they're all here, that's crazy, because literally, like I said, I was picking them up from the floor. But I think there's at least 100 cards here, don't you think? So I think I got $25 in Weird Al Yankovic cards here. And again, they didn't have a price because, as always, I find the stuff at Salvation Army that doesn't have its price tags. So I don't know, he gave it to me for $1 or $2. I don't even know. It was half price day, and I just look at the total at the end of the day, so I wasn't worried about it. So that's kind of fun. This is a real wild card. I went to a store and there was a whole bunch of these boxes piled up, and I realize now I should have bought them all just for the boxes, because they're really nice boxes. And I thought that it looked like it was electronics, and sure enough, it was. So what it is, it's a little musty, is a keypad. So it is a computer keypad. Now, My old school computer knowledge is limited, but I believe this is what they call clickety. It is a style of keyboard that had like a spring underneath it that they don't do anymore. Keyboards aren't made this way anymore, or I don't know, the majority of the keyboards aren't. And my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, if you know better, that video gamers like them because the action on the keys is better than the kind we normally make now. Plus, they make a cool sound. So if you're doing like a retro video or some kind of, you're creating your own space pod and you need, you know, you're doing a movie and the guy has to go, punch in the coordinates. Scotty, set us to 124.58 centimeters. Warp factor 9. It's fun. So it's an old, this is like a phone cable cord. It looks like it hooked into, I guess it's got I don't know, it's an old type of a connector. And what's really throwing me is this thing that says FATS, which is it's a, again, numeric keyboard with chunky keys. It's a serial micropad. So I might be able to look it up better now that I have it all in front of me. I have seen other things from this Genovations. They do currently still make stuff, so this isn't necessarily old, although it feels like it is, you know, just from the way it's made. So we've had a micro keyboard like this. We had a numeric pad like this before that I sold for about $20, $30. I think it was an old Macintosh one. We've also had keyboards with these big fat keys that have sold for $30 to $50. People like these old keyboards. Now, what's going to kill me is he had about 6 of these and I only bought 1. So if it sells fast for a lot of money, I'm going to say, why didn't I buy the rest? So I paid, so this is the other thing that was crazy. They were all marked $10, except that this one was marked, you can't see it, $7.99. So I bought this one. It was half price. I would not have paid $7.99 for it, although I should have no trouble making that money back even. So I paid $3 approximately for it. I think I might have only paid $3 because they were having a special electronics sale for $3, so she might have only charged me $3. Yeah, so it's new in the box. We'll see. We'll see. And like I said, I'm probably going to be annoyed if it sells really well and I didn't buy them all. Right, I might actually use that little box to lift myself back up. All right, the thing I actually went back to that store for was this. If you've been following me, you know I bought a ton of Spooky Town from one estate sale months ago, and we've been slowly, I'm going to say we've been slowly selling it off, not because it sells slowly, but because we've been really bad about listing it. We kept thinking nobody's going to buy them till Halloween, so we weren't hurrying. But if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that these are all out in Michael's. The new sets are out in Michael's. I'm Cynthia Boris on Instagram, by the way, if you're looking for me there. It's not my store name. So every time we put one up, they sell. And they sell good prices really well. And Limax that makes these, they pack. The packaging they put these in is custom to each item. It is so good that you can ship this stuff. Their packaging is smart. It's easy to take out and easy to put it back the way it came, and it's safe. So this sold originally at Michael's for $7.99. I bought it, they had it marked at $4.50 in the store. I got it for half price, so I got it less. I think it was 60% off, but still about $2. And this one is now selling for about $14, because what they do is they retire these. So what's this, 2003? Can't read too well. They retire these, so then people look for them. So this is going for about double its original price. I should be able to get $14 easily for this. So again, I didn't pay that $8. Even if I'd paid $8, it would have been good. I paid about $2, and yeah, that'd be fun. So that's what I went back for, and then I found that other keyboard. This is another one of these I swear I'm not going to buy, but I did. I was leaving the Salvation Army, and this was just sitting on a table on my way toward to the checkout stand, and it was so cute. The art on this, it's Dumbo, and it is, I paid $1.99, but it's Disney parks, I think. I'm probably not going to get that off clean right now. but I did peel enough that I could see. There we go. That'll work. So, yeah, it's Disney Parks, which means it was sold in the park exclusively. You know, it's got some issues at the bottom. I'm probably going to keep it for a while. I drink more tea in the winter, so I might use it. It looks pretty darn clean. I think it can stand the dishwasher. It's cute. It's got that little emblem on the inside. I just thought the art was adorable. I'm not a huge Dumbo fan, but this art really spoke to me. And I figured, again, for $2. If it had been $5 more, I wouldn't have got it. But for $2, I thought, yeah, I'm going to grab that. Cute. All right, last thing I want to show you. I feel like there's some other big item somewhere I didn't show you. I did also picked up some costumes and other things, but we're not going to look at those. Okay, what I'm going to show you is this bag. We're not going to go through the whole bag. I just want you to be able to see a general idea of what's happening in here. Let me come back down on this. Get this so you can see better. Get that out of the way. So I bought a bag. I saw this bag at Salvation Army last week. I think I mentioned it in another video, but I didn't show it to you. And what caught my eye were these sticking out of the bag. There was a couple of them. I don't know why this thing doesn't focus well. And I thought he looked really vintage. And so did all these little animals looked really vintage. Now, I do not normally buy little plastic animals. And then, but she's really a mess. And here's the head. But how vintage does that look? So because it looked vintage and because it was half price day, and it was only $4.50, I think I got it for $2.50, I bought it. So I bought it mostly thinking about these little animals and things. But then when I went through it, I found these figures were in there. And this is the first one I found. So let's see if you know him before I tell you. I saw him and went, I know this. I know what this is. And then I saw this one and went, oh, wait, I totally know what this is. And then I found this one and this one. And what they are is James Bond Gilbert action figures from the late 60s or early 70s, maybe 60s. They were a set of Bond villains that came in a box. They were all standing up. There was, I think, 7 or 8 in the set originally. I've got this 4. Individually, these sell anywhere from $5 to $10. Now, she's got some issues there on her face, you can see. But for a James Bond collector or a Gilbert action figure collector, they like these. So this potentially is $30 in my hand. Potentially. Again, if I had the full set sells for like $125. But individually, I did see some of these, like I said, going for about $10. The whole bag cost me $2.50. So, yeah, I've got that money made back in just one of these guys. You know, Dr. No, I think that's Dr. No. I can't remember what they all is. I think that might be Blofeld. I'm not sure. That might be. My James Bond villainy is off. But number one, I'm so funny. I thought it was so funny that they were in this bag. And number two, the fact that I recognized them enough to look them up on eBay. And I said, I think those are those James Bond figures. And I looked them up, and sure enough, they were. These little guys, and I won't remember the name to tell you, but these little guys are a little vintage figures that you can find, and I'll probably not be able. I never remember to write them down when I see it, but I should be able to find them again. I did find them once. They have some value, and then all of these, I think these are these. There's a set of animals from the 70s. They're called like Silly Faces or something, and I think that might be one of those. There's a bunch of this line. I think this is one of them, although he's not that silly. I think I had those when I was a kid. And then there's like these little babies. If I had a bunch of these actually have some value. Now, see that there again? The trouble with a lot of this is whoever owned them wrote, for some reason, this one's so funny, I don't know what the heck that one is. They wrote on a lot of these pieces, and I don't know why. There's a girl, there's a cute little, see that monkey I think is part of that line too. There are a few little pieces, like this little circus piece, but it's missing its other half. Look at that. Is that old? Look, it's like a Donald Duck lenticular weird little weirdness. Cute kangaroo. This No joke. I swear I did have this as a kid, and that this was designed to hook over a glass that you're drinking out of. I think this is a Disney kangaroo that goes over your glass. I'm gonna look that one up. I remember that. Okay, here's a good example. I don't know if they were playing some kind of game or what, but this person wrote on a lot of these figures. And I don't know if that's gonna, I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna, I don't think it's gonna be worth the time to take it off. Look at these cute, I think that's one of the silly ones. I think I'm just gonna try to sell them as it is. I'm just gonna sell a big bag of, you know, here's another one that she wrote on. It's kind of weird. So I think it's like they used them to do ABC or something. Look at that. Like that is, I know it's hard to see it because it's not painted, but like a little vintage little cowboy boy. That's totally vintage. I think the person who's going to want these is going to be like a crafter who makes those weird little dioramas from vintage items. This, I think, could be James Bond, could be G.I. Joe, but considering it came, the other James Bonds were in there, I think that's actually useless. And I cleaned this out. There was a lot of junk in here, real junk. Like this is the best of what's left. Like here's a little athletic man. There's another one that they wrote a letter on. I don't understand. These, remember these? Oops, sorry. Remember those? We put them on the horses. And, but there's like weird, you know, there's this fish. And, these little cute silly faces or whatever you call them, I think are the funniest ones. I think I can make a whole set of those. And then otherwise, everything else is just going to get bundled. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Tiny. It's like our squinkies that we have now, but that's vintage. Who knew we were making stuff like that back then? One last little look over here. And this head, I don't know what I'm going to do with the kid's head, but he's so cute. Look at that. What was a shovel? A blue walrus for some reason. Is it turkey? Oh, and here's again, what a mess. This is a vintage Mickey Mouse. There's a date on the back, but I can't read it, of course. And then this thing won't focus, but I'll look up later. So it's a little bendy Mickey Mouse, but that's got to be from the 70s or so. But the trouble is by himself, he's not really going to have any value. So we'll sell little baby chicks. So cute. So anyway, I think it was worth $2.50. I would not have spent $5 on it, although I think if I can hit the right person, I think there's easily $15 or more worth of little toys in here. The question for me is just going to be, is it worth breaking it up into small lots? Because, you know, every time I do that, I swear I'm not going to do that again because it's a lot of trouble. And, oh, that's one of those candle holders. That I'm probably going to be better off maybe just pulling out all these chunky, like silly looking ones and then just grouping everything else. I don't know. We'll see. Open to suggestions. Feel free to tell me what you think. And then, of course, there's this crazy high chair, which is a Mattel. See, this says Mattel 1976, which to me has some kind of value, except I don't know what went in. I have nothing that goes with it, so the chair by itself probably doesn't. Here you go. Like some kind of weird, lost his head. I feel like losing my head. It's like some weird art installation. Is this, you know, headless floating head baby in a chair. I don't know, we're gonna look that up. All right, that's what I got. All that stuff. I'm gonna call it quits right here. So, okay, that took longer than I thought. If there's anything in here you want to tell me about, please do. Leave me in the comments. Tell me what you recognize, especially any of these weird little pieces. If you know what any of this is, definitely give me some direction on that. If there's anything here you want, let me know about that. It's all going to be up for sale. And tell me what you think about my fandom box ideas, a mystery box of sorts within eBay's guidelines that, you know, it's just a box full of goodies that you get for yourself or give to someone. Oh, look here, little binoculars. Again, put that with the gun. Oh, I gotta stop playing in it. All right, that's it. You guys go have a great day. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please do give me a like and subscribe and tell your friends and all those things. And if you are out there wanting to make some pop culture profits, definitely check in with me for every video, and hopefully you'll learn something, find something that the next time you go to the thrift store, you will be able to grab a profitable item too.